Guess where I am? So I'm currently sitting here in the middle of a rice paddy on the beautiful island of Bali, Indonesia. I know it's really bright back here, but I'll show you an extra frame just so you can get a glimpse of the beauty that's here. And I've been here before, about 3 years ago, but this time I'm back for coffee. So let's get out of this rice field and I'll tell you more about it. So before coming here the first time, I never really liked Indonesian coffee. Back home, it was always sort of like something second rate, something that would be put into like an espresso blend or decaf. It always tasted earthy, bitter, nothing that pleasant. But when I actually came to Bali 3 years ago, I realized, wow, there's such an amazing and rich coffee culture here in different islands. And so, much like when I was in Mexico, I had never really tried amazing Mexican coffee until I arrived there and I realized, wow, there's a great coffee scene here and producers who are really going the next level. So that's why I'm here. I'm going to be doing a bit of coffee exploration, more on the producing side. I'm going to be heading to the Toraja region, which is on the island of Sulawesi, north of Bali, and just seeing how the production is going over there, tasting some great coffee, and hopefully emphasizing what this great country has to offer the international coffee scene. But before we get there, I've been asked a lot about my travel gear, and specifically about my coffee travel kit. So I thought I would break both of those things down for all you lovely travelers and stay-at-home type people. If you are thinking about traveling with your coffee gear, let's go break it down. So as you can see, I have all my things lined up to be put into what I call the main bag. Now, for me, this is a duffel bag. For you, it might be a small suitcase, big suitcase. It depends where you're traveling, what you're doing. And since this is kind of specific to every different traveler, you could have a big backpack. I'm gonna kind of whiz through and just explain a few of my little tips that you can apply to any sort of packing arrangement, especially if you're planning on visiting many different countries and you're gonna be on the go and in different environments. With that being said, let's get right into it. So, they're all rolled up. This is a technique that is not new, but it's something that I picked up early on as a way to really make best use of the space and make your clothes very compact. So you can see this is like a big turtleneck sweater, which I'm not wearing today. It's very hot here, but I could fit it into my bag. And as you can see here, this is all sort of like my socks and underwear. And a strategy that I've come up with to just keep them contained in this duffel bag here, pull this out, is using a little bit of a tote bag. So this is a nice coffee tote bag. And I'm going to just stuff these in here because it really allows me to separate them when they're in the duffel. You just shove them in there. And then for your dirty laundry, you could use another tote bag. But I actually like to use just a plastic bag. This one came all the way from back home. And roll that up the same way. So then you can separate your dirty and your clean. I don't know how you do it, but this has been working for me for years. And then what we're gonna do is start to throw the other things in, maybe the bigger ones on the bottom. It provides a bit of a cushion too whenever you put your bag down. Got some pants here. I usually only travel with 2 pairs of pants, maybe 1 pair of shorts. So what that allows me to do is put one in there and then just wear the other one, obviously. And then I've got like a scarf here, a shirt, whatever it may be that you're traveling with. Here's sort of some of my dressier shirts. And then we've got a few more shirts. And then what we have over here is this really great little speaker that I picked up just before my travels. And I somehow have this like little bag. So I like to find little bags that serve their purpose, especially reusable ones, because I just hate all the plastic packaging and stuff. But this can be used over and over and over. And then, you know, more tote bags. This happens to have like a shaver in there. If you don't shave, then it could be something else. But it's nice to have that contained. Of course, there's this too. This is the toiletry bag. So we kind of just stuff everything in here in a very sort of column-like fashion. So wrap it up. These are my slippers. So if you know that you're gonna be inside and you want slippers, what you can do is actually just kind of like compact them up like this and slide them against the edge of the duffel bag with the outside out, so you're not getting the rest of your stuff dirty. But that has worked for me in the past. So you just kind of like slide it in with the soles facing out. And then that leaves us with my coffee kit. So all the stuff that I need surprisingly is in here, and this is a bit of an extra. But I'll get to that in a second. These fit right in here as well. Again, very much column-like. And there we go. Sometimes we have a little bit more, sometimes we have a little bit less. But that is the duffel bag. Now let's pop up some of my tech gear. So what I have here is what I do call my tech gear or personal gear. Some of it's not that tech. I have some notebooks, I have my passport. But I'm gonna walk you through some of the basics of what I take along and some tips that I have for making everything kind of more compact and more organized. So, of course, I have my notebooks, I have my laptop over here too, and conveniently, it all fits into this this nice little personal bag. So this does count as a personal bag if you're going on any flights. If you count that duffel bag that I just showed you, plus this, you can take it on as carry-on, and basically any flight, if you don't want to check any luggage, some airlines charge extra for that. So here we have the bag. Let's just put away this laptop first, and I'll walk you through the rest of this stuff. So I have a nice little case here. This is also by M24. I really like supporting this brand because it's all reused materials from truck tarps in the UK. So I've worked with them a lot in the past. And so the laptop fits perfectly in there. They also made that duffel bag that I just showed you. And then this, so we take our notebooks and we'll just throw those in there on one of the sides. This bag has a lot of different pockets. So let's just take this as a phone charger, very useful. And let's say this adapter. So in the front, I like to keep my phone charger very accessible because when I'm traveling in different airports or on the bus or whatever, I don't have to dig through a bunch of stuff to get it, just open it up. Passport, on the other hand, I like to keep very stowed away because I want that as safe as possible. This is a nice little passport holder, which I can actually keep money and stuff in here too. Right here, I have like about 1 million, not dollars, rupiah. But yeah, pear tree leather. They made this nice little holder, so I just kind of put that in one of the zipper pockets back here. And then I've got this other coin. I have this with me all the time, so I just put like extra coins and stuff in there. I can put that in my pocket as well, but for the time being, I'll just put it in here. And then hard drives. So usually on smaller trips, I typically travel with 2 hard drives, some of my older stuff and some of my newer stuff in case I need to edit anything. But on longer trips, I also bring a 3rd one. So this one's really, really good for backing up any new content that I get along the way. So obviously I have backups of these back home. I have even more backups in Barcelona, but having a 3rd one really helps in case this one just gets destroyed somehow. Maybe you drop it, or maybe, you know, it just gets corrupt. Of course, it doesn't help if you lose all of your stuff or it all gets soaked in a canoe somewhere or stolen. But at least this will help you with any of the current content that you have on that trip. So let's just slide that in on one of the sides as well. And then of course we have our laptop cables. And then a little tip that I'm gonna give you as well, if you ever travel on any airlines, it gives you sort of like a toiletry bag or sort of travel package on the flight. This one's actually from Air Canada. And I've kept all these bags because I find them very handy for storing. You can hear there's a lot of coins in there. I think I have some like Canadian money in here. I've got some euros, some loonies. And then of course I have like just random other stuff. So this lens could probably use a bit of a clean. Put that on there, a nice little holder. So put all your extra stuff in here. So you can actually just put that in there too. It keeps everything very separate. And of course my sunglasses, you can probably keep that in a jacket pocket too, but these fold up really nicely, super compact. Another brand that I've worked for often, Hexton. thank you. These are great sunglasses. So they just fold up super compact. Put them in there too. And then pens. Pens are very helpful for when you're in the airplane. You get handed like a customs page and you need to fill that out before you get to before you exit. You know, it's really nice to have those super handy. Or, you know, if you're at the passport check, border crossing, whatever, and they need to write something down, whip it out. Of course, your phone. Usually I just keep that in my pocket, but you could put it in your bag as well. Now, of course, the one last thing that's going in here that you cannot see is the camera that is filming me right now. But I take that lens off and then I'll keep the body with another lens on it, and then I'll obviously take the microphone off too. And just usually I actually put the body into some sort of hat just to keep it a little bit buffered, like a toque, like a winter toque or something. And then I'll just find a little space in here. So all of that fits into this nice bag. With that being said, let's go get to the main event, the coffee gear. Let's go make some coffee. As I mentioned earlier, I put all my coffee stuff in the duffel bag. So let's pull that out. This is actually another M24 bag that I've had since the very beginning, and it's always done the trick. Of course, we have this, which I'll explain in a second, and still some coffee from when I was at the expo in Seoul that I had sort of overseen the roasting of from our friends at a nearby booth from Kenya. So this is a Kenya coffee, and let's get this off here. Let me just break down what I like to bring along with me on some of the lower key trips. Of course, having a scale to you might seem excessive, but when I'm going to a bunch of different things, I'm at an expo, I'm traveling to Origin, I'm visiting with friends, I like to have this to make sure that I can create some great brews. So this is the coffee scale, this is the Akaya. It's very portable, but at the same time it's very, very accurate and very quick. So I like to have that with me. But let's get to what's in here. So somehow I can fit everything that I need if it happens to be an AeroPress. So here I have different parts of the AeroPress. Let's put that back in here and I will dissect everything in here. So I'm gonna put this bag aside. Now you might have seen this before, and the funny thing about this particular cup, it just looks like your average camping mug, but I did actually pick it up last time I was here in Bali 3 years ago at this like skate bar. They serve a lot of their cocktails, well, all of their cocktails in these mugs, and so I asked, can I take one of these? And they said yes. So I've been using this for coffee ever since, literally ever since, and the AeroPress just fits perfectly on there. So this, if you're not familiar with the AeroPress, it is this. Go to some of my other videos to see it in action. But that goes on there. Let's pull this out. You've probably seen this before. This is the Helor coffee grinder, hand grinder. So this just goes on here, comes out really nicely here, and the coffee grounds go to the bottom. So obviously you put the coffee in there. After it's been weighed, grind it up. Only takes about a minute with this one. It's a really good grinder. So let's put that here. And of course the top of the AeroPress. But what's nice is I used to travel with a kettle sometimes because I like the gooseneck, you know, the control that comes with a gooseneck kettle, and then, you know, just keeps everything warm. What I've found with the AeroPress is that I can actually use this to pour water in over top, and it comes out in a very nice stream. So go back to some of my other videos about the AeroPress to see how I do that. So let's put that there. Got a nice little stirring spoon. Fits in there. This is really great for any time that you're doing a cupping. Well, it is a cupping spoon. But if you're at Origin and you want to try some coffees that they're producing there, that they maybe sample roasted, this is really handy to have along. Or if you go to a cafe in there or a roastery and they're showcasing some of their new coffees. So I like to keep that with me too. This actually is not necessarily even coffee related, but I always keep it with me just in case. If you are from Argentina or have ever been there or have friends from Argentina, you will be familiar with what this is, because it actually is, and I'll demonstrate here. It's a bombilla, which is basically a straw for mate. But we won't get into mate today, but it's a really nice infusion like tea from Argentina and those regions, Uruguay, that they love to drink over there, and I like drinking it too. On that note, this thermometer fits really nicely into this bag, and it's super quick. It might seem a bit excessive, but it is part of my kit. Which leads us to the last part, and this is this, remember how I talked about little bags? I love finding little bags for very specific things, and so this actually is a housing for my AeroPress filters. Now these are very particular AeroPress filters. They're made by a friend of mine named Eldrick out of Vancouver, and he distributes and manufactures filters called the iSeer. So they are much better than the ones that come standard with the AeroPress. Produces really, really good clean cup. And I also have like one copy of the metal AeroPress filters by our other friend, Amuse. So I have a lot of AeroPress friends. I've done some videos with them in the past, so go and check those out. That is my coffee kit. You saw kind of how it was dissected, but unfortunately this grinder does not fit into the top of this AeroPress, so I have to put it in this part and then put all the rest in here, but they do fit side by side within my bag. So we're gonna pack this up. Actually, I'm gonna make a coffee right now. Then I'll pack it up and I will conclude this video in just a moment. So now that we're all packed, I've saved my swim shorts because I want to take one last dip in this pool before we head out to the Toraja region of Indonesia, which is in a few hours. So now would be a great time to subscribe so you can check out that video in just a few moments. See you there.